whenever you had critics or antagonists of the system, like capitalism, and the same is true of slavery, feudalism, and so on, they typically fall into two major groups. And I think it will help us in our discussion of socialism and communism to talk briefly about what those two groups are. The first group is critical of what it sees and demands an amelioration, a softening, an improvement, progress, lots of words. They want the system to change to better treat the people that live in it. So, for example, in the struggles around slavery, the critics of slavery, one group of them, out of the two groups, I'll tell you the other one in a moment, one group was determined to get better diets, better clothing, better conditions, less breaking up of families, to make the experience of the slave less onerous, less awful, to improve, you might say, to be cute, to produce slavery with a human face. So it's a criticism of slavery that pushes for an improvement in the quality. Same thing in feudalism, to have the serf have more of the fruits of his own labor, to be less oppressed by the lord, to be less required to make payments to the lord, and so on. In capitalism, there's a group of critics who demand higher wages, better working conditions, improved pensions, subsidized housing, you know the list. Demands for the improvement. Then there's another group, a second group of critics. Their concern is not primarily with improving the conditions of the mass of people within a society. They're interested in transforming that society, changing it systematically. And their arguments are roughly the following. The system breeds the bad conditions. Even if it were possible to improve the conditions of the mass of people within the system itself will undo the very reforms, you see where the language is coming, that you can achieve. Those good or better conditions will always be dependent on how the system is working and how the people who run the system feel about those conditions. Or to say it real simply, to raise wages in a system that's a wage system always allows for the time to come when the wages will be reduced. You haven't institutionalized your improved situation. You haven't made it the system. You have left the system in place so that the improvements are always dependent on the system. Or to say the same thing using the passionate language that usually gets involved here, consider the struggle between those who were critical of American slavery in our South, who demanded better conditions for the slave. Now imagine yourself in the presence of a room where a John Brown or someone like that tears his hair out and screams, the problem is not to improve the condition of slaves, the problem is slavery, and that's an abomination that has to be ended. It's not how we treat the slave, it's that there is such a thing as a slave, which is intolerable. And Abraham Lincoln emancipated the slave. He did not spend a lot of time passing laws to improve the conditions of slaves. In the intensity of the Civil War, he simply said, there is no such thing, and the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution prohibits slavery as an absolute. Well, not quite. If you read that passage, that amendment, the 14th, it allows for, it bans slavery everywhere except in prisons. That's still the law in the United States. We can have slavery in prison. There are actually several places where we have slavery that are allowed by law, but in general it's banned. Okay? So, in the history of capitalism, the same thing. There are those who want, often in the name of socialism or communism, or not using those names, it's not necessary, they're not the only names, but this group of critics want to improve the condition of working people in Canada. Higher wages, better working conditions, more civil liberties, you name it, you know them all. And And then there's another group who sometimes take the name of socialist and communist, sometimes don't, for whom the issue isn't to improve the condition of workers in capitalism. The problem is there ought not to be workers in capitalism. There shouldn't be people who depend on others to hire them for their life. The workers should not be in that situation any more than the slaves should be the property of another person. And that's the issue. Now, often, these two groups collaborate. They see a commonality. Those who want to improve work on that. And side by side, those who want to revolutionize the system, transform the system. So, if you like, to make permanent the reforms, to guarantee the reforms, to embed them in a different system, those people work on that project and they work together. And if you want, you could use names like reformists, for those who want to improve the condition, and revolutionaries, those who want to change the system, and they work together. They consider their two goals, their two foci, their two projects, as what you might call a short-term and a long-term project, or a smaller and immediate and a larger and social project. There are various ways that they build a coalition and work together. They can even have fun, as when the reformists turn to the society they're trying to change and say, you better give us the reforms we're demanding, or else you'll have to deal with those other people, and they want a lot more. That game is played all the time. But even more often, they do not get together. They do not cooperate. They criticize one another. The reformists attack the revolutionaries. You want the whole thing. There's not going to be a revolution. We don't have the strength. The other side isn't vulnerable. It's too dangerous. It's too horrible. Whatever the reasons. And therefore, what's achievable is reform. So stop wasting everybody's time waving the slogans and storming the barricades. You can't get that, and it is foolish and dangerous to try. On the other side, the revolutionaries. You don't know what's achievable. You don't know how vulnerable this system is. You don't know what is possible. All you're doing is giving up what we really need and going for small potatoes and being really happy if you get them, and mobilizing masses of people to spend enormous effort to get something that isn't secure. And you're only gonna depress them, frustrate them, and turn them off. Not only will they not be militants for the revolution, you won't even keep them as militants for the reform. You reformers need us to be here every bit as much as we need you to be there. And why would the revolutionary admit the reformers necessary? Because reform is something people can immediately see. They can immediately benefit from. They may get active in a particular political movement around immediate issues much quicker than they might get around the bigger, more abstract, more total kind of change. So maybe getting involved in reform could be a stepping stone, a step in the process that ends up with a revolutionary. When they work together, they've looked at it that way. But their working together is always fraught with the tension of these two groups' different perspectives. And the smart people on the other side, those who wanted to keep a society going, have always understood the importance of playing on the difference between these two groups. Saying, for example, to the reformists, you're good. You're not like those dangerous people with the bombs in the back of their pocket threatening everyone. And if you're nice, and you stay as a nice reformist, here's what we're going to do. We'll give you some reforms. Smash the hell out of those revolutionaries. You don't protect the revolutionaries. We'll give you some of your reforms. How's that for a deal? Often that deal is taken. And that will help split, of course, the revolutionaries and the reformists when they don't do that to themselves.